You know, people talk about vulnerability. The first thing they tell you as a leader, you need to be strong and you need to be stoic and you should not you don't be friends with people that you lead. And they tell you all the bad stories, but they don't tell you how to leverage vulnerability as a superpower in order to connect with the people that you work with.
Hi guys, welcome back. We are in our last day here and I am here with one of the most badass women at this conference. I'm so excited that she decided to come on the podcast with us. This is Jeannine K. Brown. She is the Jackie of all trades, and I'll have her explain all the trades that she has with her and that she does, and probably a million more that she wants to do. But I feel synergy with her because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
So welcome to Get Wealthy with me, and I am so excited that you're here. Your session was one of the most amazing ones. Your energy, your advice, you know, what you're trying to give to women, men, younger people. So just tell us a little bit about you, who you are, and then we'll start going.
Well, thanks, Sharon. It has been a joy to be here. I am so honored to be on the show and be here with all of your listeners and your followers. Again, I'm Jeannine K. Brown. I am an author of the best-selling career book, Unstuck and Unstoppable. And yes, I brag about it because if I don't brag about it, nobody else will, right?
Exactly.
And I really love the product that we have out for career professionals. So I do that. I am a podcaster, but most of the time I spend my time leading a team in our consulting firm where we help companies design culture and talent strategies. And our firm name is Everyday Lead.
Awesome. And do you find that with what you're doing with your firm, do you see that it's gotten better over the years in terms, because it's a challenge, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a challenge to get out there. Sometimes it's a challenge to actually have companies realize that they need your services. How do you put yourself out there with your consulting firm?
So over the years, what I've seen is companies think they're making an investment in talent, but it's also the first investment that they are willing to strike through, right?
Yeah.
When they look at cuts, the first thing they do is cut not only talent from a headcount standpoint, but how much we invest in their development. So sometimes that is a little frustrating and challenging to someone who really loves people and loves for people to be at places where they can thrive and there's equity in the workplace for people to be positioned to thrive. But when companies do make the investment in designing programs because they want to retain their best talent, they want to invest in high potential talent so that people can have great careers, they can build skills they need. That's when I'm in love, right? I get to do this work. And it's so amazing to see in the moment transformation and impact. Yeah, when someone says, oh, I didn't realize that it was my communication style that was impacting how my team executes. I didn't realize as a supervisor that I need to be more vulnerable and share my story of my mistakes and how I overcame them. And we teach them how to do that. And those are leadership skills that you don't really hear about.
You don't.
You know, people talk about vulnerability. The first thing they tell you as a leader, you need to be strong and you need to be stoic and you should not you don't be friends with people that you lead. And they tell you all the bad stories, but they don't tell you how to leverage vulnerability as a superpower in order to connect with the people that you work with.
And I feel like that's one of the things that I've noticed, that when you make that connection, then your team automatically starts working better for you. And the collaboration, I hear about competition and collaboration. And in my life, I feel like the collaboration, no matter what generation you're working with, because you could be working, like we have a 4-generation workforce. And if we don't learn how to communicate through the generations, and that's something I think it's aha moments probably when you come in, right? You get a lot of aha moments. It's like, wow.
There's a lot of aha moments. There's a lot of emotion, right? Some people get mad. Some people get sad. I've had people in our sessions that are so moved or they feel this sense of transformation or being heard that they will cry.
Yeah.
Like, or even in sharing their stories.
Right.
Right. I am here at this company. I love it here, but these are the kind of things that happen to me.
Right.
And no one knows. Right. So a lot of people come to work, they like the work, but it's the people
Right.
that challenge them. And so we get an opportunity to help people human better together and create psychological safety in the workplace. Again, so everybody can thrive. Right?
Everybody.
So they can be there. Because, I think about my career, and I don't know, when you think about yours, a lot of us didn't quit our jobs because we hated the actual work. We quit our jobs because, unfortunately, we started to hate the people. And so we left the people. We broke up with the people and had to leave careers or work that we actually enjoyed.
Yeah, the environment that you're in, like I talk to Chala all the time, and I tell her that if you love what you're doing, it's not really work.
Yes.
Yes, it's work. It's movement.
But there's joy in it.
Yes,
It's joy in the
and
work.
you're supposed to enjoy
Yeah.
it, right? Because you do that most of your life.
Right.
So wanting to be passionate about what you're doing has to do with the collaboration, and it comes from the top.
Yeah.
Right. It comes from, if you're leading, how are you leading? How are you listening to your people?
And we shouldn't have to suffer 8 hours, 12 hours a day
Hating
what we do.
Yeah.
Because that has a long-term impact.
It has a long-term impact.
But, workplace challenges will always be there. And that's why I like conferences like this, because we talk about the workplace challenges, but also give people solutions of things that they can consider doing and applying to their own life in their own way, using their own particular style to help them overcome those, right? To build the resiliency, to build community around themselves so that they get the support systems they need. Because you will always have challenges on work, because that's the only way we grow.
Yep.
Just imagine if people who've never had any obstacles, never had to overcome a challenge, never had to deal with confrontation, they don't grow. We grow through those things, right? Even gold has to be, we have to use fire, right, to shape gold and to do those things.
Everything has to be molded.
Everything does, and so do we.
And so that I always hear sometimes in our culture, people like, oh my gosh, I know this couple. We're gonna talk about marriage now. I know this couple, and they're so perfect, they're so great, they never fight. So I'm like, okay. I'm gonna tell you that actually, when you are having an argument or a passionate discussion, like I might say, that's the way you get better. Those are the relationships to me. That it's not the ones that you and I are the same. It's the ones that you and I are different, but we can collaborate and understand our differences.
Now I know this is not a relationship or a marriage podcast or a dating podcast.
It's a story podcast.
But money has a lot to do with everything, right? Including relationships. And you're right. My grandfather used to say that a relationship where there's no arguing is not a relationship.
It's not a relationship.
Because how do you learn how to communicate with one another? How do you know, how do you even know how to control or where your boundaries are without it? How do you know how to apologize and admit that you were wrong, right? All of those things. So you're right.
And a lot of times, right, we don't even know, if you don't tell me or we don't communicate, you don't know that you're hurting the other person's feelings. And good relationships are the ones that know that I will never do that to you on purpose, but, I did it.
Yeah.
It wasn't on purpose.
I can't believe I did it. I can't believe I said that. Oh my gosh.
Because you don't know how it affected the other person unless they communicate. And I think that's one of the things I think we can do through gender. Like, I think a lot of times men, and what I've learned here at this is like, we as women, we do need to communicate. I know they say we over communicate, but we do need to communicate, because the men in our realm, and there's a lot of them, they can't read our minds.
No. Women can't either.
Nobody.
No,
so we have to be able to, when a lot of things that happens that goes awry, it's usually because of lack of communication or miscommunication.
And I think, that is one of the skills that so many people are lacking is understanding poor communication and miscommunication. Right. So poor communication, I failed to listen. I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. I'm using maybe the wrong words, or we're not using the same understanding of those words. And then miscommunication is you misunderstood my intent, what I was going to say, what I meant to say, didn't come out right, but you never came and got clarity.
Right.
So you walked away mad.
Yep.
Right. You're holding a grudge. Right. You stood on it, and now you're holding a grudge. You're sharing that information with other people.
Right.
And that's how it goes. It starts to get personal conflict in the workplace too.
Yes.
And then even in our personal lives. And a skill that I think a lot of us, and maybe some of us, learn later, too late in life or later in life, but the ability to stop and say, wait a minute, what did you mean by that? Because I feel some kind of way. It didn't feel good what you said. Did you mean it that way? Because that's how it feels to me. That's how I'm taking it. So someone can correct it in a moment.
Right.
And you get clarity there. So.
Yes, and you know, with us, with finance, being here, I think in finance we do think about the numbers and we do understand the numbers, but we tend to miss out on what is it important to be successful. What is the important to build, and it's you have to weave the money conversation all along into it. Because without all of the different parts, without the communication, without understanding how to lead, like you said, people don't leave jobs, or people don't leave relationships, or they don't leave things because they actually hate what the environment. It's what the people are bringing into the environment. And you're right. I, when you said that, I was just thinking about the jobs that I have not been involved with. It is because of the people. One of the things that I feel at the table now that I'm doing differently than I did before is I'm not leaving. It doesn't matter if it's a committee that I sit on and it's mostly men, or it's whatever. Because a lot of the times when I was younger, I used to say to myself, when I would get talked down to, we're going to talk a little bit about women, or I was being told I'm too sensitive a lot of my times. I would be like, I don't need this. I'm gone. And I quit. I leave. And I met another CPA, PFS like me, this year, and she told me the same thing. And I'm actually in the spot that was within a committee. And I was about to think like, I'm ready, I'm gone, I don't need this, you know, whatever. And when she told me that, it got me to think that, you know what? You need to stay there and stick up for the girl that's going to come behind you, because she didn't stick up. I'm in that same position that she's in.
So you get an opportunity to be a catalyst for change.
Right.
And make people aware of because even when we leave things abruptly, we don't even get an opportunity to do what we call like an exit interview.
Right.
Right. Like share the challenges and also share and communicate, like what can you do to make this better for someone else, right? You may have a blind spot, or people might think, well, we all talk to each other that way. Doesn't mean it's appropriate.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's what we should do.
Yeah.
Right. So people think, oh, we have this culture and everybody's tough-skinned and we just say what we feel. We just say it any kind of way with an understanding. But everybody doesn't come in with that understanding.
No.
Or agreement.
Right.
Right. So if you all call each other names and there's a lot of profanity, Jeannine Brown does not want to be a part of that. That is not an agreement I can enter into.
Right.
So you probably should have told me before I joined this board.
Right.
Or can we do something to fix it now?
Right.
But I think that kind of goes back to money too sometimes, right? When you think about how people spend their money and their behaviors around money, right? Some people are used to being broke. And it was so interesting that you used that word in your session yesterday, because you don't really hear that word around high income earners.
Right.
But a lot of high income earners are broke.
Yep.
They are broke. We look well, we talk the game, we know the words we should use.
But inside, we're all messed up.
It doesn't even have to be a catastrophic financial issue that arises. You could just get sick. I mean, anything could happen, right?
Anything could happen, yeah.
And you can't pay your mortgage,
yep.
or your car is repossessed. I've seen people in big homes get their cars, and they're not the people who you would think it would be.
Yep.
Right? Because even bias around who's broke we have a lot of bias about that.
We do. We
right?
do.
We might think someone that looks like me is broke and not someone else. And I'm like, no, I ain't broke, sir. No, son, I am not broke. But you don't know, right?
You don't know.
So, and I find that too. I used to be an emotional spender.
But we all are emotional spenders,
But it was like
to some extent.
but I was also an emotional decision maker at work, right? So sometimes these behaviors kind of bleed into each other.
Yep.
When I didn't feel good, when I was upset, when me and my boyfriend were having an issue, or I felt a sense of whatever, frustration, I would hit the mall. Banana Republic, temporarily. Then I'd have buyer's remorse because I spent $1,000 within 2 hours on clothes, and I got a closet full of them. But the same thing, and sometimes I feel like that at work. Like you said, in your example, you get mad, someone says something, and I just quit because it didn't feel good.
I don't need that. I don't need to listen to that. I didn't even tell them what they did. But I don't need to listen to that, and I'm done. But the thing is, what I've learned that, yes, I have to choose my battles, right? But I'm going to choose more battles, not just because it serves me, but it's my responsibility. When you're leading, you do have that responsibility to think of everybody you have that responsibility to think of it. We as women, being older now that I'm 50, I feel the responsibility to affect change. And I'm seeing it more and more. I really, really thought that, I feel like you and I might be around the same age.
Yeah, we
might be a little younger. But I feel like there isn't a lot as a Gen Xer there's some change, but I don't know how you feel, but I feel like there's not as much change in our world, especially finance and accounting, that should have happened. Do you feel that way? Because I know there's change, and we're trying, and they're trying. I just don't think it's enough.
I don't think it moves fast enough. And I think there's too many moments where we take 5 steps back, and then we take 5 steps forward, and then we take 2 years back. Right? It's this recessive progress. And I think that's why women are dealing with what we dealt with, right? Because we put in change, and people need to be really clear. And I am passionate and bold about this. If you don't think that your political views impacts the workplace, you are severely naive. Whatever is happening in the world politically eventually makes its way, or is sometimes even led by, what's going on with the thoughts and ideas and the biases in the workplace. So if there's an idea that women should not be working in high-performing roles, they shouldn't be CEOs, and all the bias about us being emotional, as if men don't throw temper tantrums at work. If they believe that, and there's this push from groups and sectors for women to go back home and older women to take care of grandchildren and things like that, it's going to make its way in the workplace. You'll see the conversations start making their way in the workplace about women's inability to lead under pressure, inability to lead complex and large teams. So we have to, as women, have to take responsibility of the choices we make politically, because they are going to impact us directly, and the women coming behind us, who could be our daughters, our nieces, our mentees, and how they navigate the workplace. And I think a lot of women they try to compartmentalize those two things, my decisions politically with my ability to get promoted at work. And I think they're not separate.
That's very interesting. I think I try to do that because in the world that we live in now, politically, I feel like we don't know. It's so hard.
It's charged. It's so much emotion and friction around it.
And we're pretending. I feel like we're pretending that what's happening in the world is not affecting us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I mean,
oh yeah,
And I am guilty of that. I am guilty of trying to compartmentalize it because I feel like it is so bad that I can't do anything to change it.
And that I understand. A lot of us are grappling with what we can do. And this is why when everyone asks me about what can companies do, I always turn it back to what women can do. Right? We have to be a collective front. We have to be unified in our decision, even if we disagree with certain things. We can't be, so if you want to make change in your organization and you feel like women are not being promoted at the same rate, they do the same work, they get the same ratings on their performance evaluations, but you've noticed that men are moving up faster when all things are equal, women need to be at the table united in having that conversation and bringing that forward. You can't be a woman who did get promoted fast and say, well, that's not true. You have to be over here with the other women saying, I've noticed that too. Although I might have been promoted faster, I feel like we don't have enough like me.
Right. Right. And so what are your thoughts on that? I love that we need to be more at the table. We need to be more united. I like that's what we should be doing. We're not really doing as much of it as we should, but that's what we should be doing. What are your thoughts on when people tell us, right? So there's this fine line that we're hearing a lot of it. And people are more open in telling us that, you shouldn't be get promoted because you're a woman. You shouldn't get you shouldn't get this because you're this. You shouldn't get this because you're that. What are your thoughts on that? Like my thoughts, I'll start with mine. My thoughts are, it is not even being looked at. Like if you want to have if you're not looking in the right places, like I'll give you an example. One of the boards I sit on now, we did a survey on what we should be doing in our symposium and things that we're doing. Yeah. And the survey, the answers from the survey, I don't know how they got it, because for me, I don't believe that that's the case. So then I'm like, well, who are you people surveying?
Yeah. Who are they surveying? Yeah.
Right? So if you're telling me that you're not finding, people who are qualified in certain sectors, women or certain multicultural environment and all these things, well, where are you looking?
Yeah, that's true. Where are you looking? I think the biggest issue with this meritocracy conversation is people pretend as if men don't get promoted because someone likes them.
They pretend that the man...
Right. Yeah. They associate meritocracy with excellence. I have led all types of people. Mediocrity comes in all shapes, colors, and genders.
Absolutely.
And I never promoted anyone because they were a Black woman. So for me, it wasn't about self-identifying. If she was the best candidate, we determined she was the best candidate from her work and her potential, right? Because we know that it's about where you can see this person go. I don't think most companies, most of my clients and the companies I've worked with and worked in did not promote people because of ...
Right.
But people got promoted often because of proximity to leadership, influence, and power. And unfortunately, most men hold the power in corporations, and they tend to mentor and socialize with other men who look like them and who are like them.
Right.
Unless they are told to or asked to mentor someone else. So it could be asked from a company structure, or someone like me, like, you're going to be my mentor. Yeah. We're going to be friends, Mr. So-and-so. Yeah. And you're going to take me under your wings and you're going to show me. And I know a lot of people are not comfortable developing relationships across racial lines because of a lot of different things, right? There's just a lot of fear, risk, and the unknown.
The unknown.
Right? But I think, to your point, they know where to find the candidates if they want them.
Yes.
They know who are the best candidates in their organizations. The problem is, when they find them, they don't create the environment for them to be successful. They don't address the bias, the microaggressions, in their culture so that the people who they get, who are high performers, are willing to and able to stay.
And I 100% agree with that, because so I feel like some of the answers that we get from, the normal boxed way are like, well, we can't find this, or we don't see this, we can't hire this if it's not available.
Right.
Well, these people are not applying. Why are they not applying?
Yeah.
The bias comes even before they get to that table.
Oh, it's on Glassdoor.
Yeah.
They go to these sites where people go and complain, like Glassdoor, or not complain. They shed light on what
good way
it's like to work there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they're complaints. I think they are people's real experiences fueled by some emotion, right?
Right.
This happened to me. I'm going to Glassdoor. I'm going to warn everybody, don't work at ABC company because they're mean and they don't pay, right? And their managers are stupid. Weeding through some of the lines, it's a bad culture, right? Beware that it could be a bad experience from you. But I think most people want to work. And this idea that most people don't want to work is, I think, a made-up idea. They just don't want to work for you. And that's the problem. And that's your problem, right?
Yes.
Just imagine if you had high turnover in your company, in your organization, or even with your vendors.
Yep.
Is it really the vendors or is it you?
Right. You got to rethink what's happening.
You have to rethink it, right? I'm having some challenges with a vendor, and it's not the company itself. It's like, what I realized is this is the second company I've worked with that's managing our technology. And I was like, you know what? It's probably me. I'm going to own some of it first. I'm not communicating what I need, right? I'm giving them too much autonomy, and then things are not getting done.
Right.
They're not communicating. So I'm going to sit in owning it first. Even though I've communicated before, I'm going to own it one more time. This is the last time I'm owning it, though.
Yes. There's you got to stop at a certain point, because yes, you are addressing what it is that you can do, and
what I can do.
I recently had this issue, and I'm realizing that not everybody I can work with. Not everybody we have the right synergy to work with that, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't have to work with you. But I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try. I'm going to sit at the table with you, and I'm going to let you know, okay, this is what I think I did that maybe you didn't understand, or like I didn't get this across to you, and these are the things. Then I'm going to listen to what you have to say, because the next person, and I know narcissism is a word that people use often.
And misuse.
And misuse, yes. And the next person will come to the table now and say, okay, I get what you're saying, and we've done this because of this, but we could do these things differently. Yeah. That's the kind of vendor or person or other party that's willing to work at the table with you.
Yes.
But if you come to the table and you own part of it, and they're not owning their part,
it's not good. And that happened to me with someone too. We had to end our professional relationship because he was not owning the part that his company and his employees were playing in the breakdown and the miscommunication, and the issues with the quality of work that didn't meet our expectation. Right. So I'm like, okay, you keep shifting the blame, but we're not the designer, right? We're not the person that's delivering the end product. And I know what that's like because we design work for our clients. And so I know what we've had to do. So, I think a lot of people, it's easier to blame someone else.
And you know what? For me, it's accountability, right?
Yeah, accountability.
It's accountability. None of us at the table are perfect, right? So this is where I'm saying I could do different. So what can you do different? And when you come to the table like, okay, well, I can't do anything different, then it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
It's not going to work because the accountability in the whole situation, we're both accountable for certain things. I'm trying to navigate my part and say, okay, I can do this better. How can we work it better?
I'm sorry. I interrupted
go ahead.
you. No, you go ahead. I'm sorry.
But I this is the part that I've struggled with, that there are going to be people in the world that I am not going to be able to work with because they're not going to take accountability for sitting at the table with me.
Yeah, you mentioned it earlier when you were talking about the values and someone said collaboration was their value. And I think that's where it goes back to. It's like understanding what your values are, your core values, and do they align with the people that you're working with?
Right.
So if honesty and accountability is my core value, but it's not a core value of someone else, and doesn't have to be their top 5, but it needs to be on the radar.
It needs to be on the radar.
Then it's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Like if accountability and the willing to speak up and say I'm wrong is not a value for you, but it is for me, I'm always going to be the one stepping up saying I'm wrong. And then you're going to feel more emboldened.
Absolutely. That's exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, that's what happens. So,
well, Jeannine, I think we can have more conversations.
oh yeah, we could talk all day. I feel it now. Let me go ahead and book my flight to Florida.
Yeah. Well, we could talk by the pool,
Yeah.
maybe with a drink.
Yes.
You guys, when you come down, I'll either meet you down or you come by my
We gonna
area.
come by.
Yeah.
We are house people.
Yes.
You know,
my mother will.
That's
cook
how
for
we
you.
manage your wealth. You
Yes.
know? And we will not have a problem if we need to pick up groceries on the way. Let us know.
No problem.
Yeah.
Mother will cook for you.
Oh, that'd
all
be
the
fantastic.
Guyanese food that you want.
I was like, she makes roti from scratch.
yes, she does. She does make roti from
We make
scratch.
roti from scratch. Get some lamb, some curry spices.
She gets the lamb
Some-
organic because her boyfriend owns a farm.
There we go. There we go.
So
It's fresh.
You're gonna be ready. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure
for
to be
being
here.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
And I just wish you the best, and thank you for continuing to like empower women around their wealth.
Yes.
Because riches come and go.
Yes,
But wealth will
wealth
be
is
there.
building.
Yes.
We got to build
Always
it.
build it.
We've
Yeah.
got to build it. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. This is amazing. We're gonna tap into Jeannine a couple more times in my lifetime. Okay, not a couple, more than a couple.
I see a partnership.
Yes, I
brewing.
feel it. I
Yes.
feel it here. I feel it.
Coming soon. A bigger women's wealth conference.
Yes, I love
And
it.
I can be in the front row taking notes.